Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another Voice Essentials live hangout. Just turned my ears down because I've got one monitor in my ear and it nearly blew my head off just then. It's so good to be hanging out with you. Thanks for those of all of you who have jumped into the live chat already. It's good to hang out with you here again at Monday, what has just gone 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Of course, if you're watching this in replay, welcome to you also. Many of you, in fact, most of you watch this as a replay, and it's always good to read your comments in the comments section below the video. But of course, as you can see, the live chat is already firing. So good to see so many of you here. Music Lover, Yahui, Matt, Cockney, Linda, Moa Pow for Owls, who's also known as John. It's good to have you all there. I timed someone out earlier before, and then I realised that maybe the person wasn't being nasty or trolling, and so Kirsten, if I timed you out and you've taken offence, I do apologise. It's just one of the comments I was a bit dodgy. I saw that, and then I timed you out. If you didn't intend how I read it, then I apologise. I hope you're still with us and you can join back in the conversation as we get going. I still need to adjust these ears because they're really having a go at my ears. We don't want me to get deaf by the end of the hangout. So hopefully the volume's going good, and I hope it is very comfortable in your part of the world. As always, I haven't suggested we do this for a little while. Let us know where you're from. What time is it in your part of the world? And so we, as a community, get to know each other a bit better. In fact, I'm going to be talking something about that little extra something that we can do as a community in a moment. So yeah, let us know where you're from. As I said, it's Monday, Australian Eastern Standard Time, 2 p.m. Here, and the weather is so dry. In fact, my lips and everything, for a vocalist, it's unpleasant. For the air to be so dry here in Brisbane, Australia. So wherever you are in the world, I hope your lips aren't as chapped as mine feel right now. But yeah, let us know in the chat section where you're from. I can see Music Lover saying it's 9 p.m. here. That would suggest to me you're probably in California, Music Lover, from memory. I know Linda's down in Hobart. 5:02 a.m. UK. Cockney, good to have you. And that would be why you call yourself Cockney Rebel, right? Okay, so let's jump in. Hey, just a very quick update to Voice Essentials 2. So many of you have Voice Essentials 1, the exercise CD. As you know, I've been in production for Voice Essentials 2. I had thought that we had finished recording, and then my producer found that there was one track that we don't know how it happened, but we haven't yet done my vocal for it. This happens on the big jobs, right? So I've got to go back in on Saturday afternoon this week, quickly actually do the vocal for that track. But I'm hoping we are on track for a release in 2 weeks. And I'm hoping to release the track ready for this live hangout in 2 weeks' time, and I'm even going to do a little special price on it. So make sure you tune in so that you can get take advantage of that sale price. I'm really excited about this, everyone, and I'm hoping that you're going to really enjoy it. It's going to really challenge your voice to go the next level. Something I want to just ask a quick request of you all. Let me just get up the page I want to show you. And that is, I want to just make a request to see if this is actually my my website, and I'm hoping that for those of you who have bought the exercise CD, I want to encourage you to go and leave a customer review. Yeah, so you can see here there's 13 people. I've got a 5-star rating at the moment. They're all real reviews. None of them are fake. And I was wondering whether some of you would be so kind, because many of you have the exercise CD, whether for Voice Essentials 1, whether you'd be kind enough to go and leave a review. And in fact, to get to review, so that's the top of the page. You come all the way down. And all you've got to do is click on reviews. Yeah, so the description, additional information, which is not really a lot there, and then reviews. And hopefully, I think you can just leave your review at the bottom and leave a rating. I'm not going to tell you what to say or how you rate it. It's up to you. I'm really keen for honest, real reviews of the exercise CD. And so, look, I would love for you to do that if you haven't already. And it just helps other people know what the exercise CD, how it's benefited you, and what value you've been able to take away from it. I would be so thankful to you for doing that if you haven't already. The big news of the day is I have opened let me jump over here, a Facebook group. It is open, it is live. There's a link in this video. If you look in the description section below, there's a link there to the Facebook group. I've called it the Voice Essentials Community. There's a video down here that you can all, I wonder if you can
check one,
hear
check
that.
two.
G'day there, welcome to the Voice Essentials Community Facebook group. I won't watch it all the way through. I won't play it all the way through for you, but hey, I would love for you guys to join it. Now, currently, it's a closed group, not a secret group. Anyone can find it, and that, for that matter, anyone can join. But you will have to make a request to join, and then fill out a little questionnaire. I encourage you to read the description, which has got all the group rules. This is a space where I want us to really be able to, as a group, and you can see Karen from SingWise has already joined up, and we've already got, who's this? Tria Nicholson was very clever and found it via my Facebook page. So this is a Facebook group. And so what I want to encourage you to do is during our live hangout now or after the live hangout, I want you to click the link, go and join the group. Now, the value of the group is not, it's more about the community here at Voice Essentials. You know, when we hang out live once a week, this is great. We love doing it together. I get to answer your questions and all those sort of things. You get to interact as a community. But I kind of think it'd be nice to do that more, right? And doing it for an hour every week, I don't know, I felt like we could do it more. And not only that, I really felt like, hey, I'm not the only person in our community here at Voice Essentials that has knowledge, that has experience. So many of you have knowledge that you can bring. And so in starting the Voice Essentials community, I want to really point out that whilst I'm going to be an active member, and I say this in the video, whilst I'm going to be an active member of the group, I'm not going to be the dominant voice in the group. I want you to be the predominant voice. I want you to really engage. Anywho, I just wanted to announce it's open, it's live. We've been talking about it for a few weeks. You guys and gals thought it would be a cool thing, so well, I think we're ready to go. Look, I don't know a lot about Facebook groups. I'm a participant in a number of them, but as far as running them, this is going to be a learning curve for me and for us as a community. So I hope that you guys will jump in and become active members, and that would be cool. And I think we've already got a new member. Yes, and Nadine. So I'll be jumping in there later to have a look at those of you who have asked to participate, and I think that will be very cool. I'm really hoping that you guys get a lot out of that. Let me jump over here, sorry. So we've got, so please leave your reviews and jump into the Voice Essentials community Facebook group, and let's interact more during the week and participate on that level. So let's get into the rest of today's subject matter. I think we're going to have an interesting conversation, I hope, and we'll be doing that right.
Sound check. Check one, check two.
I think I hit the button before I finished talking. Anywho, what we want to talk about today is that old saying that the devil is often in the detail. It's not, I didn't make that up. You've heard that before many times. And the reason we hear it many times is because it's actually a bit of a truism, isn't it? The devil is always in the detail. And I want to talk through, this thing about a couple of weeks ago. One of the questions that was asked in the Q&A, and incidentally, if you've got questions that you would like answered in a few moments as a part of our live Hangout today, make sure you ask them in the live chat. Excuse me, in the live chat, so that I can answer them or attempt to answer them a little bit later in today's show. But a couple of weeks ago in the live Q&A, someone got me sort of, the question I think hit a button for me, and I made a few comments around different YouTube, not specifics, but some things that I see happen here on YouTube and here online, as far as the things that are said and done by different singing teachers and different creators here on YouTube. So I want to kind of go through talking about this thing about the fact that the devil is in the detail. Now, let me say very clearly, I am not going to name names in a negative sense. Any names that I'll name will only be hopefully reflecting positively on them. And this is not to tell you to disengage or unsubscribe from certain people. What I want to do today is really empower you with the art of, and it's really talking about the art of discernment and understanding what to look for online, so that you can know that who you are choosing to take information from is a trusted source, someone that you can implement the information that they're giving you at a level of trust, because you know that person has a level of, dare I say, quality and expertise in giving you that information. Sorry, my in-ears are just pulling on my ear. Feels like it's about to be pulled off. So let's talk through, I've got a range of things here I've written down that I just want to talk through, some things that you can be thinking about when you are engaging in certain online discussions, certain channels, listening to information that comes through. I just want you to be able to think clearly and discern wisely. So one of the things to listen to observe, and this is where the devil is in the detail, is firstly, it's often what is not said that's important. Because the art of, for example, sleight of hand, while you're looking over here, someone can be doing something over here, and we've seen very clever, we've all seen those things on YouTube where, people do all sorts of mysterious things in front of our open eyes, and yet we don't see any of it. The same thing can happen with, online singing lessons. It's often what is not said that can be quite important. So, for example, I encourage you to go looking for channels and information where it's not that it's not a singular voice that you're being directed to. So if you see a channel that at no point ever directs you or allows other voices to speak into the space, then that's probably a bit of a red flag. It is an indicator that, hey, this person may not be allowing other people's thinking and research and understanding into their space. They may well be sort of taking a bit of a guru status and trying to set themselves up as a guru. But gurus often, not always, but often will not allow other voices to speak in. I do my very best here on the channel, And you'll notice, and my ears today annoying me like nobody's business. That's why I have other voice coaches come on. Last week we had Dr. Mary Beth Dame, one of the most respected singing teachers of the last 20, 30 years. Next week we've got Dan Minton. Matt, you've got to tune in next week because he is a low voice specialist. Now he's a classical singing teacher, and I know he's going to go out of his way to really stress, hey, I'm not contemporary. He's a classical specialist, but I know he's going to have so much to add to our understanding. And for the last 3, 4, 5 months, we've had so many different voices coming on. They're not always voices that I necessarily agree with 100%, but nonetheless, it's so important that we hear a variety of instruction and voices and understanding, and that we permit those into our space. You'll notice that on my videos, I'm constantly referencing other people, other experts. Why? Because Dr. Dan doesn't know everything. Dr. Dan is never going to know everything. There is no one who knows everything, and it's only as we build a collective wisdom, that collective mind hive, a hive mind, is that, how do you say it? Hive mind, mind hive, that we're able to garner a true understanding. But if it's only a person that's presenting a singular voice, then that's where we get, if you get the impression that the singing teacher is it's my way or the highway. Wow, okay. Now there are some things that are non-negotiable. That's true. But those things are kind of self-evident. Whereas, if a person's talking about, I'm going to take this out because this is just going to annoy me for the rest of the show. Let me get rid of that. If you are constantly, if for example, let's say diet is so open to, I guess, people's own personal bias and prejudice, whether it be around the vegan thing or the vegetarian thing or the carbs or the protein or what have you. I did a video recently, many of you have watched, about diet. I really worked very hard to give a very balanced, very research-based, evidence-based piece of information. But that's not always what we find here on YouTube, and especially when it comes to singers. So be very careful, and diet's just one topic where this can be an issue. So be very careful around those kinds of topics, because what is often driving that is a person's own agenda. And you want to make sure that if they are, delivering that information, that their referencing is excellent. Be very careful of poor referencing. Again, if they're not allowing other voices to speak in, then be very careful of that. The other thing you want to be careful of is singing teachers. There are a number of singing teachers here on YouTube who, before they had a YouTube channel, they weren't really doing a lot of singing teaching. And then they get a YouTube channel, they get some subscribers, and they start to refer to themselves as an international singing teacher. Wow, I've been doing this for 22 years this year, teaching singing, and whilst I have an international audience, I'd be very reticent, I think, to call myself an international singing teacher, because whilst, yes, my technology allows me to get to an international audience, we've got all of you from all over the world, that doesn't make me an international singing teacher. I even teach people online using the technology, not just in the Voice Essentials live hangouts and my videos, but actually in private lessons. I teach them from all over the world, but that doesn't make me an international singing teacher, and it doesn't make them an international singing teacher. That moniker is reserved for a very select group of individuals, I think, and if someone's starting to refer to themselves as such, then I think that for me would be another red flag. Also be careful of when a person presents information and they say, this is what works for me and so it should work for you. That is not actually wisdom. A data sample of one is horribly, has horrible shortcomings when it comes to good pedagogy. What we do know about the human anatomy is every individual is unique. The morphology of individuals is unique. And I was listening to Dr. Shannon Coates recently on a video actually earlier today. She's doing a series on Facebook. We had her here on the channel about ages ago. And she was talking about the individuality of every human being. She's talking about breath management. And it is so true. So when a person presents information that, well, this works for me, so it should work for you in this particular manner, and if it doesn't work for you in this box, then it, again, another red flag. Something to be very careful of. I said earlier before, be very careful of the guru status, because here's the deal. The gurus aren't on YouTube, everyone. The people that are really looked up to, who are international singing teachers, actually, I don't know any of them who are regularly on YouTube. All of them have got books, highly acclaimed, regarded textbooks. They're the gurus, but none of them are here on YouTube. I'm not a guru, and I don't think I've met anyone here on YouTube who really has the right to claim that status. And I think even those people who could claim the status would really be a bit uncomfortable with the term. Finally, well, this is actually not final. I've got a few more points. I do want to encourage you, be very careful. Be very careful of other singing teachers who badmouth other singing teachers here online. Like, that is the height of unprofessional. That's the word. It's a lack of professionalism, and it shows just such a high regard of disrespect. And anyone who feels comfortable enough to name and blame and shame other singing teachers, again, has a little bit of a God complex, I think, and they need to be very careful about how they interact and treat their colleagues, people who they do need to interact with, and so be very careful with those people, because it just comes across, even if it's not intended to be, it comes across as being a bit narcissistic, and narcissism has no place in the teaching space. If they're willing to do that and say that and fire off, salvos here online, then maybe the information that they're giving is a little bit short-sighted and a little bit confined. So be very careful of people who would be willing to do that. Hey, here's another one. If it's too good to be true, it is too good to be true. So when you see channels that are putting up, whether it be videos of their students or videos of themselves where the vocals are so perfect, I'm going to say it's just too good to be true. What I love, I mentioned a series that Freya, who I really enjoy the heart of this teacher, and she's been here on the channel a couple of years ago. I think I had Freya on the channel, and it's a channel that I encourage you to subscribe to if you get a chance. Freya recently was doing a little series where she was, displaying her wares and showing people her own practice. And it was warts and all. It was wonderfully raw. It was wonderfully vulnerable. Everyone, that is a good singing teacher. Someone who is willing to expose, figuratively, expose themselves and their voice, the imperfections of their voice. Now, it's true. It's probably not going to garner, the subscribers, and it's not going to garner the, the excitement. But everyone, it is real. Yeah, and I really encourage you to go looking for people online here on YouTube and in other spaces. Stuff that is real, not stuff that has been produced. Why? Because when you hold that level of production up to as the standard, you are going to feel ultimately like you don't measure up. And that's not fair to you, and it's not fair to the wider community of learning to sing. And so it's a matter of putting up real vocals. Yeah, real. Now, I know that, what we listen to when we buy a produced CD is heavily doctored and heavily produced. I get that. I'm not naive. I have my own album, and I've said before, I even used Melodyne. What do we refer to Melodyne as? Auto-tune. There's auto-tune on my album. Why? Because, time is money in the studio, and we had limited time. And so I went after emotion as my premium, and emotivity and phrasing and all those things above and beyond perfect notes. And hopefully that shows in my album, which is, over a decade old now. But the point being is there's nothing wrong with that, except for if you're teaching people to sing, and revealing the raw journey of it all, and the fact that everyone, your voice is imperfect. It's wonderfully imperfect. It's biological. It's anatomical. And by virtue of those things, it is imperfect. But that's to be celebrated. That is not to be avoided or dismissed. And it's working through that imperfection that we gain so much reward and so much joy. And so, if you see something online that seems, gee, that's awesome, well, that's cool. It's cool that it's awesome. But for singing lessons, just be careful to know how to, categorize that. Because that, when someone puts that sort of material up, it just strikes me as being a little disingenuous. That may not be the intent. There may not be any malice in it, but that's how it comes across. So if it's too good to be true, then it is. Be very careful also, I've written down here, be very careful that their suggestion of truth, if a person is giving this suggestion that their suggestion of truth is better than the body of collected truth, this collective idea, and I think I spoke to this a little bit earlier, be very careful of that, because here's the deal. I love this little saying: those who grow alone grow weird. And it's very easy for singing teachers to grow alone and grow weird, because we're in our little studios all day, every day, and it's very easy for us to start believing what we think and start, going, oh yeah, no, I've really got it all together. I know everything there is to know. And so be very careful with singing teachers who start to sound like they're just out on the edges of, existence, because their single truth is most likely to be questioned. And finally, look, everyone, I hope this has been helpful. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button if you're enjoying today's video, and make sure you're leaving those questions. Linda, I wonder if you've been able to put any questions together in the live thing. If you haven't, that's okay. I'm just jumping in here to have a look again. I've got one more thing. No, that's okay. We can go old school today, which won't be a bad thing to do. With the Q&A, yeah, leave your questions. The final thing I do want to mention is, and this is a real, I personally think this is a bit of a character test, and that is on YouTube here, online, and a lot of things get said, and no human being can ever be 100% right. If they were, then well, the facts are that they aren't. So we say, ones like myself say a lot of things publicly. But if it becomes apparent that what has been said publicly is an error, then it behoves ones like myself to correct that error publicly. And so, as you know, there's been a number of times where I have uploaded videos and it has been brought to my attention that I am in error. It's never easy. It's never easy because you put so much time and effort and heart and soul into these videos, but it behoves me at that moment to acknowledge the error, whether it be in the description section of the video or, as I have done a couple of times, to remove the video and redo and rescript the video. It behoves me to do that. Now, I'm talking about things that just become really apparent that they're wrong and they're called to account and what have you. If a person is unwilling to correct errors and they just, bed down and decide, no, I'm absolutely right. I'm just going to make sure that Linda's not telling me I've got something wrong. Oh, okay. Linda's telling me via text message. This is a wonderful thing about having Linda in Hobart in Australia. Docs is on and happening today. Yes, but Linda, where? I can't find it. What am I doing wrong? I'm looking, Linda, I'm looking. Hang on a second. Dear. I can't. Oh, here we go. Oh, I see. I found it, Linda. Oh, dear. So if, back to the scenario at hand. If we find that someone has said something that is in error, but they're unwilling to listen to, the collective mind of experts, then that again is a red flag. Can I just, in finishing up this little topic of today, can I just say, no one single of these things is reason to discontinue watching someone or to unsubscribe or to disengage. But they are all opportunities. They're all red flags. And if you are getting multiple red flags on these fronts, then it really behoves you to stop and go, do I want this person speaking into my life? Do I want this person letting me know what I should and shouldn't be doing? They're just some thoughts. Really, the devil's in the detail. Look beyond the shop front window. Go past the glitz and the glam of well-done videos or go past that and dig deeper into, is what they're doing, evidence-based? Is it well-researched? Is it well-referenced? Is the person themselves, have they been teaching for an extensive period of time? Is there more than just someone who's bit tech savvy, has been able to open a YouTube channel and been able to, do a few reviews of other people singing on YouTube, for a whole heap of subscriber interest? Just be mindful. Now, that could be cool as entertainment, but it may not be the best person to be speaking into your vocal development. Hey, hit the thumbs up if you've enjoyed that. If you're watching this as a replay, I'll be so super keen to read your comments as well. I know that I've been watching the live chat. You guys have been going off the charts today. So maybe today's discussion has been really resonating with you, I hope so. So we've got quite a few people, like as I said, from going for it with questions. Matt, in fact, we should do our usual stinger for the Q&A. We'll be right back after this. Okay. So Matt has asked, what can I expect from a lesson with a pedagogue face-to-face? Ooh, good question. What you can expect, Matt, is personalised information. And that sort of speaks to what I was saying earlier, is all the information that is provided, certainly on this channel, is general in nature. And in fact, I think I even make that comment in the description section of every video. It is delivered as general in nature. Matt, your anatomy compared to female anatomy, compared to the different body type anatomy to you, it's all different. I've got a number of students in my studio currently who, here in Brisbane, have come to me because they've been watching my YouTube channel, and many of them have then seen a lot of my exercises and whatever. But that's what we do. We work through the exercises, and I think many of them are surprised just how nuanced the activities can be made to be to fit them. And that's really important with any vocal program. The vocal program should not be about you fitting to the program. A vocal pathway, which is what I look to develop, molds itself to the individual student. Such an important orientation, Matt. And so that's what a good vocal pedagogue will do. They will orientate to you, not orientate you to their program. And so that's probably the best way I could answer your question. Miles Mackey has another question below as well. So we'll try to answer both your questions, Miles. How can you control your breath while singing? Miles, I've got a video that you should go and check out on my channel. And incidentally, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe, hit the white bell icon so that you can be notified whenever we go live. So go over there, Miles, have a look. There are exercises on my exercise CD, which you see being advertised down here. And in fact, on Voice Essentials 2, which is getting, all things being equal, being released in a couple of weeks, has got some breath management activity in it as well. And it's really about developing breath management, again, specific to how your body wants to breathe, and teaching it and teaching it to manage your breath well. Miles, you've also asked, do you think I should sing on YouTube? Good question, Miles. In fact, I've got a new video coming out in a few weeks. Keep an eye out for it, Miles, because I'm actually going to talk about the idea of releasing videos onto YouTube as a singer. But it's also it's an area that I'm hoping will be something we can do on the Voice Essentials community a bit more. I'm asked all the time, Dan, Dr. Dan, can you review my video of me singing? Guys, I generally don't have the time to do that, and so as a general policy, I just say no. But I think it would be great if we can encourage each other, maybe put up your videos onto the Voice Essentials community and people can comment and give you feedback, and I might be able to do that as well. So I'm hoping that will be something to do. Turquoise, good to see you, Turquoise Skies. Can people learn to sing opera at any age? Yes, of course you can. Depending what then you need to think about is what are you looking to achieve with that, and in fact, one of the things about classical voice, and I'm not a classical specialist, Turquoise, as you know, so take what I'm about to say within that frame. But my understanding is that actually for the classical voice, they love voices that are older and more mature and have gone past that ossification of the cartilage of the larynx, so that the mechanism is more stable and rigorous. And so older voices, I think, are more apt at doing classical material. If we have any classical pedagogues in the house, then I'd love to be corrected if that's not the case. Two more questions, and then we're going to finish. To be a good singer, this is from, I'm not going to be able to say your name because I think it might be an Indian name, Adhyathamika Pujari. Wow, that is a great name. A name that I can't pronounce correctly. Forgive me. But you've asked, to be a good singer, how many years do I need to learn? How long's a piece of string? Look, I always say to students, expect it to take between 1 to 2 years to establish a foundational technique. And then foundation being the basics, and then spend the rest of your lifetime developing beyond there. It is you're never going to stop learning. Because the voice will be changing, and you need to be continually, changing with it. Ruby has asked a similar question to Yahui's. What are fry notes? I've never heard of them. Fry notes are typically, hey, 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 that's where that fry is. And it's where the vocal folds are pulsing. They're coming together at a much slower rate, and as a result, they're not giving us a clean tone, but you get that fry. We'll typically hear fry notes at the beginning of a phrase, sometimes at the end. It's used stylistically as an effect, typically. There is a whole video on the channel, on the Voice Essentials channel, Ruby, that you can go and check out about vocal fry, and I go right into that. A good example of it is Britney Spears is a great example of fry. Baby, baby, yeah. So there you go. I think we're going to leave it off there. Oh, hang on a second. No, Ruby's got one more question. Then we are going. Oh, Yahui asked also, how do you know if a note is fry note? Well, Yahui, I just finished that. Last question for the day about vocal teachers that clear their throats. I heard that it is not safe for vocal cords. Instead, you should swallow and not make a forceful sound of clearing your throat. Yeah, I've got a whole video, only a vocal pit stop, because it's only really a less than 2-minute video, and because that's all you need for this. Go and check it out. Yes, clearing your throat habitually is not a good thing to get into the habit of. That being said, ones like myself, we're human. If you've been listening to me clear my throat today, for example, which I wouldn't be surprised if you have, I'm getting to the end of having nearly been, I had laryngitis last week again, where in that season we have a thing here called the Eka, it's the Eka flu, blah, blah. Hence, I may have been even clearing myself, but that is not what you should be doing. You should always look to swallow first, and then if swallowing's not working for you, Ruby, you can just give a light clear. But we certainly don't want to be in a habit of, clearing all the time, because it's quite abrasive and quite abrupt. It's a very heavy hit of the vocal folds to the glottis, and so we want to avoid that. Well, there you go, everyone. I hope that you've enjoyed today's live hangout. Next week, we have Matt from Canada. Sorry, not Matt. What did I say? No, Matt is going to enjoy next week's live hangout when we have Dan Minton, who is a low voice specialist. I know he's going to bring a lot to the table and teach us all a whole heap of stuff. Again, if you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, hit the white bell icon, hit everything on the screen. I hope you've enjoyed the hangout. I look very much forward to seeing you during the week when the other videos get released on Wednesday and Friday. Hey, and I'm hoping to see many of you over in the Facebook group. You won't see me straight away because I've got 2 more students to do today. But I look forward to interacting with you in the coming week on the Facebook group, Voice Essentials Community. I'll see you really soon. My name is Dr. Dan,